Joining me now is Florida Congressman Ron DeSantis, a member of the House Freedom Caucus as well. Congressman, you were leaving the ballpark right before the shooting broke out. We talked to you yesterday morning, and you told us that a man asked you as you were leaving whether it was Republicans or Democrats on that field practicing. With these photos of the alleged shooter, James Hodgkinson, now that they've been released, is this the man that asked you that question in the parking lot yesterday?
Yes, it is. And the other two individuals, Congressman Jeff Duncan and then one of Congressman Duncan's staffers who was driving the vehicle, all three of us are in agreement that the individual who approached us and asked that question is the same individual that's been identified as the shooter.
Congressman, how do you feel? How does that make you feel?
Well, I mean, a couple things. I was playing third base 10 minutes before the shots. I probably would have been about 50 feet from this guy. I was actually throwing Scalise balls at second base, turning double plays, and didn't think anything of it. Jeff and I left a little early because we wanted to beat the traffic. So had we stayed out there, we would have probably been in the line of fire. But then you also think, us being in that vehicle when he approached us, we were sitting ducks there as well, and he could have started shooting. I don't know. I don't think he had a rifle on him at the time. He may have had a pistol on him. I couldn't see anything below his chest. But it's just the type of thing you just wonder. But to come in contact with someone like that, it was a little bit of a strange encounter. He was a little abrasive. We're out there 6, 7 in the morning. There aren't a lot of people just spectating. So it was a little weird. We kind of thought about it, but once we got the news that there was a shooting, Jeff Duncan and I immediately said, look, we've got to report this. It was strange, and as soon as we saw the pictures, we're like, that's him.
Well, in the wake of this attack, Congressman, are you thinking about doing anything differently, beefing up security, how you carry out your own life? Because it surely will have an impact on everyone who was present on that ball field yesterday morning.
I think we're going to be working through those issues. I will tell you that since this happened, some of the responses we've gotten into our offices and various congressional offices have been discouraging. We got a call for someone that was happy it happened and wanted the president to be next. Another one of my colleagues got an email saying 1 down, 217 more to go. So there's some type of a current out there that is really virulent, really nasty. And how many of these people would ever act on it like this guy did, I don't know. But I think you definitely have to just think about that and take those threats a little bit more seriously. And not that I didn't take them seriously, but I tend to view it as hot air. Well, this is an example of a guy that clearly was motivated to target Republicans.
Well, talk to us about I guess there's a real bipartisan feel in the wake of the attack. I think a lot of people, Republican or Democrat, took great solace in, there was a photo of the Democrats at their own practice yesterday morning praying. But this gunman had a long trail of social media posts denouncing President Trump and Republicans. How do you think it came to this level of violence?
Yeah, I think we'll find that out. Clearly, what we know now is very, very troubling. I thought the initial attack, you had to ask the question, is he targeting members of Congress? But then knowing more about him, is he targeting Republicans specifically? I think the evidence that we have so far suggests that absolutely that was the case. I'd like to know who else he was in contact with. How did he end up in Alexandria? How did he find out about this baseball park? It wasn't like it was a secret that we were practicing there. But was that something discussed on social media or anything? And why did he happen to be there at this day, which was our last practice of the year? So I think we're going to figure that out, and I'd like to figure out kind of what circles he traveled in and whether he got any encouragement to do it. But clearly this individual had reached a boiling point of political rage, and it led him to attempt a mass murder.
Right, and that, Congressman, that goes to the issue of security and what more can be done. There's the physical element, but also tracking down these individuals on social media. To what point does their expression of rage turn into this kind of violence? Now, the congressional baseball game is expected to go on tonight. Are you going to be there? And why is that important? Why is that an important message to send to all Americans?
I will be there if the game's played. It's a great event, and I'll be playing in the game. We're going to raise over $600,000 for charity for underprivileged youth here in the D.C. area. We may be able to raise more now that there's more attention on the game. And so I think it's a good thing. It's, it's something that Steve Scalise in particular really has always loved. And he's so excited about the game. It's a tragedy he's not going to get to play. But this is something that really motivated him. He was like a kid in a candy store when he was out on that baseball field. And so obviously just the fact that Steve was hit is a tragedy. But I think especially he's on this baseball field that he loves so much. It makes it, even more of a tragedy.
We know Steve Scalise very well around Fox Business and Fox News, and our prayers are with him. They have been from yesterday morning and are with his family. Congressman, one last thing. Do you think that this will change the political discourse in this country, that people, the vast majority of people in this country, could possibly wake up and realize that the anger and rage that individuals feel towards one another just because of their political persuasion, that this could somehow change that?
I guess time will tell. The early indications for me is that nothing's probably going to change, unfortunately. I think when we are getting calls to your office praising what happened and then hoping Donald Trump's next, that is not a sign of a healthy political discourse. And it's a minority of people. It's not the majority of people who think that way. I get it. So time will tell, but I'm concerned about it just because the level of toxicity, it's been getting worse for years, but ever since this last election has just gotten so toxic, so bad. And calling my office and wanting me to die is one thing, but like when you ask that you hope that my 6-month-old daughter dies, it's just, you wonder, these people are just consumed with hate and consumed with rage who are doing this stuff.
Congressman, when did that happen? When did somebody call and threaten the life of your daughter?
We get it. I mean, it's not something that's even out of the ordinary. I mean, and I'll tell you, since this has happened, a lot of our members, we've been talking to each other a little bit more openly about some of this stuff. I mean, sometimes it's uncomfortable to talk about, but we've discussed it, and I think that most members have noticed a change since the election, a change for the worse.
Unfortunate, and again, our prayers are with Steve Scalise and his whole family, and frankly, every member of Congressman. Ron DeSantis, thank you so much. It was great to talk to you this morning.
Thank you.